UK, having a passport that allows you to move now into the UK since 1999, Progress to Prosperity, Robin Macmillan coming and introducing that in his realm in the British government, making that transition, allowing people to take residence there, allows persons even from the UK or people from Bermuda to have greater access to the UK. And so that culture becomes sort of like second nature, and people think nothing of the fact that you could be 4,000 miles away from there and have connections there. As culture goes, when the Azorian connection flight took prominence and opened up a new window, not only for persons of Azorian ascent, of which I'm very respectful and mindful of, having spent a lot of time in my formative years around that community and around some of the leaders of that community. The Honorable Ralph Marshall, the first Portuguese person of Portuguese descent to be a member of Parliament and a member of Riddles Bay Golf Club, which didn't allow a black member until 1980 odd, which was Hubert Smith, I believe, after he had been a member of Belmont. History is important that we know. Culture is important that we know. So when we see persons that will travel to Bermuda for Bermuda Day, for Cup Match, and marvel at how we celebrate, it's important to know that we are a composite from where we've come. And in some areas, there are those of us whose families can see the origins of many of those cultures. And we celebrate it. And the more we celebrate it and appreciate it, the better I believe we'll be as a people. And the more people will appreciate and visit here and appreciate embracing our uniqueness in that way, because there are many cultures, even the ones I spoke of, that are turning their nose up to diversity in their community. I see that in places like the UK and the like. I see that. We have an opportunity to be different and be a microcosm of what we hope the world would be. I take great pride in having family members that are Asian, that are African, that are British, that are Caribbean, that are American, that are Native American, Canadian, all kind of like different fusions. And as you go to different events and the like, and you'll see it manifesting itself in how you dress, in customs and the like. I see the glass of Bermuda as half full. I can look at the wonderful things that we have going our way in Bermuda. I believe the opportunity for us to make Bermuda even better is within our grasp, and many things being done to make it so. I look at the challenges as we have as an opportunity. And so, in recognizing the significance of Heritage Month, I feel it's important for us to celebrate those who, before the masses were convinced that we had a culture, many persons knew that what existed was transported from where their origins lay. And who has the money sometimes controls the narrative. I believe that the paradigm in the cultures that we embrace in the holidays reflect a significant shift in Bermuda society. But I believe we have an opportunity to grow on that and take it to greater heights. 297-1027 is the number to dial. I'm Kim Swan, your Wednesday morning host here on Tourism in Focus, and reflecting on a very important part of tourism, and that is our culture. We have a national tourism plan which speaks to awareness and relevance. It speaks to the infrastructure of the island. It speaks to local involvement, innovation, year-round tourism. I always take the opportunity whenever I can on this show to single out the importance of local involvement, because local involvement captures the unique authenticity of our people as celebrated on Friday last during Bermuda Day. Cup match. What's turned out to be race week. A very Bermudian. Very Bermudian. Let's just take race week, for instance. Traditionally, the coldest week of the year in Bermuda. Friday night, the Front Street Mile is usually cold and windy, and sometimes even could be threats of rain. Someone call me and tell me, do they ever remember the Front Street Mile being canceled? Race week, I remember presenting prizes next to Lord Sebastian Coe a few years ago as junior minister responsible. And it was a cold day. And I looked out there, and some of those runners were in their shorts jumping overboard in January, celebrating having run a marathon, a half marathon, celebrating being part of race week. That same weekend, I was at the prize presentation at the conclusion of the half marathon Saturday morning runs up at the National Sports Center on the North Field. And it was combined with a corporate presence that was organizing people. It was a celebration of running. It was Bermudian. It was like a touch of Bermuda Day for runners. It was uniquely Bermudian. And I felt it as an athlete, as a professional athlete by trade. I felt it, and I said, wow, what a good vibe for someone plying their trade. Someone who might just run for a living, coming to a place such as Bermuda and taking in the exuberance and the love for their sport leaves them with a special feeling about our country. We see it with persons working in transportation out there. 2 cruise ships in dockyard today. Thousands of people in Bermuda today. People getting about Bermuda. And Bermudians rising to the occasion. I listen to them as I'm out there walking. I hear the interactions with the transportation operators as they pick them up and welcome. Hope you had a good day golfing today. Where am I taking you to? How's your vacation been thus far? Wonderful. Make any birdies out there today? Now, this coming from people that don't even play golf, but they pick up the necessary lingo to be able to engage. That's the driving along. And what are your plans for this evening? Oh, wow, you're going over to Coral Beach for dinner. Lovely spot. Do you have transportation? Would you like for me to pick you up? What time do you plan to be there? All of a sudden, there's some conversation. A person has a prearranged pickup for dinner. It's 6 o'clock from the Reefs. Maybe a 9:30 pickup afterwards. So all of a sudden, just through that type of dialogue, local involvement, essential. Getting more locals involved, ever so necessary. Educating those who we have to have come to Bermuda to work from other areas. Critical in my estimation. It's critical to have someone know the geography of the country that they're coming into. It's important that persons coming here who are going to work in hospitality know the basic points of this country. I just want to say, as we're talking about culture and the like, and I see in Bermuda Day the beautiful presentations by the Filipino community in Bermuda Day, I say I support and embrace that, and I would like to see every culture represented in Bermuda, showcased in similar manners, so that Bermuda can see all that has made us who we are. All that we are has come from other communities. You know, when Miss Ruth Thomas's story was recently told, she shared, coming from the Prospect community, how much the marching bands, the impact of the marching bands had on her growing up. They were ever so prevalent in that community. I know when we have, in the community that I live in today for the last 40 years, St. George, because it was Bermuda's first capital, and there are many ceremonial events that take place, so it's not uncommon to have or hear bands in St. George. You would hear more bands playing or marching in St. George than probably any other place in Bermuda. And so someone living in that community would come to appreciate bands. Somerset would have the Somerset Brigade Band. St. George's would have many iterations of marching bands that have been a present in our community. Good morning, caller. Welcome. You're on Tourism in Focus.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Swan. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you, madam.
Good, good. Just calling to say I thoroughly enjoyed the Bermuda Day Parade.
Yes, ma'am.
It was excellent. It reminded me of when I was a child.
Oh, wow.
The atmosphere was charged with the sunshine. It was absolutely wonderful. From the runners right to the parade, it was an absolutely wonderful day. So it made me proud to be Bermudian.
Thank you for sharing that. We appreciate that.
And God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. And I just want to say thank you to that caller. I do recognize Miss Wade, and I just want to say thank you very much for sharing that. In the parade, we had the ex-artillery elite majorettes. Now, I was one out there in the parade, so I got a lot of heat, a lot of sun. Took a lot of sun. It was almost like, my Uncle Sheridan always said, if I win the toss, I go to bed and I give the other team a lot of sun. Well, we caught a lot of sun, and didn't get a chance to see a lot of the other participants as we had done in previous years. In doing so, we paid homage to the late Ceola Wilson on the Project Action bus that provides free transportation to the fiscally challenged and seniors in our community. And a lot of people don't know that behind the scenes, Ceola used to encourage and Project Action to be more outgoing with its PR and let people know what we're doing. And she used to write press releases, help us with press releases, press conference and the like, and helped my wife, Cindy Swan, the co-founder, along with the late Judith Stewart, who keeps the bus wheels turning, along with the administrator, Miss Rose Douglas, and Mr. Wilson, who drives, the volunteers. Ceola used to encourage her. She said, listen, get the word out. I'll help you with the press. I'll set up a press conference up at BIU. We'll get that word out. We'll raise the money necessary in faith, and did so. And so we paid homage to her on this Bermuda Day. But, you had the St. David's Islanders Native community in Bermuda Day. You had the pre-mentioned day, pre-cup match seniors tea in Bermuda Day, representing their culture, both of them. You had the Association of Filipinos in Bermuda dance group in the parade, representing their community. And one thing I can say about their community in that they make a concerted effort to appreciate Bermuda civics. I've seen that. I've seen persons who I'd never met. Good day, Mr. Swan. How are you today? Now, some folks we see in church, because I tell you, my wife is Catholic, so she would see there, and people connect up. But that's important as a community, to know the community, to appreciate the community where you come from, but respect and appreciate the community where you are and the people in the community. And I've seen that with them as a community. The Bermuda Nurses Association, Nurse of the Year, representing that connection. And we've had nurses in Bermuda from all over the world, and meet more Bermudian nurses as well. Vasco da Gama, the Portuguese Cultural Association, were represented. United Dance Productions. Dance is a very important part of what Bermuda is all about. And then you saw all these different gombe troops and majorettes and the St. George's original dancerettes and lots of gombe troops. Pembroke Hamilton Club. I'm here to share that local involvement celebrates the community that the locals come from. And I look forward to us embracing this even more going forward. Good morning, caller. Welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Tony. How you doing?
I'm fine, sir. How you doing?
Doing fine. I didn't call you last week because my good buddy told me I'm gonna ease Kim up.
No. Don't ever think that. I don't ever think that. You are most welcome. You know.
Okay, cool. What on the parade? Accident parade. Kudos goes out to Cedar Bridge. I had to go look at the float twice.
Mm-hmm.
Well done, well put together, well thought out. My question to you this morning, Mr. Swan, is this. What's the chances of bringing back the Easter parade? We do remember that, right?
I do remember the Easter parade.
Right. So what is the chances of recuperating that particular parade?
Well, let me just turn that question back to you. What part of the Easter parade would you like to have embraced into Bermuda Day? What element of Bermuda of the, because you remember the Easter parade, it was divulged in, I believe, the Pitt report after the riots. That the Easter parade, the origins of the Easter parade, did not celebrate Bermuda's culture, reinforced the colonialism and the racism that existed in Bermuda. However beautiful it was from a floral pageantry, there were parts of it that reinforced, that empowered an era that was suppressing, and so Bermuda Day arose and was recommended in those social scientific reports that were done by different people. And I know there were different reports done, several of them.
Because I read the Pitt report, and I saw it where it mentioned that in particular. But I was more doing it as a more floral, a more designer, a more imaginative parade, leaving out all the suppression and the era that it was in. No, you was right, because you did incorporate somewhere in the Bermuda Day parade.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah. Well, what you're saying is this: is that I believe the elements of what made the floral pageant so beautiful, right? Mind you, we had greater agriculture, right? So you had more flowers to pick from. You had more flowers off the oleanders. You had more Easter lilies and the like, because it embraced because at that particular time we had come out of an agrarian era where Bermuda had more open space. I mean, you'd have to have all these flowers growing on rooftops now, or bring them in on the boat. But I remember that the schools were very much a part of the floral pageant. Every school, because I remember we used to go out by the golf course there before the golf course was even built, and get those bay leaf trees, because every float had you would have those bay leaf trees stamped onto this float, and then you'd build the floral around it. Remember
around it? Yes. And you used to fern plant and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But even in today's parade, they use a lot of dried flowers. So the big parades you see on TV in the States, like the Roseboro, even Macy's, they use dried flowers, colored dried flowers, and maybe that will be an avenue to reinstate, or not even reinstate, to bring back more.
You could have an artistic category. So it's not just a floral float, but it could be. I mean, Bermuda has a lot of art. I mean, and we, in most things, we punch well above our weight. I mean,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
And we could have an art category where art is celebrated, and the artist working with an artist could partner with a school, for instance. And
okay. Let me say this one before I leave you.
Go ahead.
Who attracts the tourists that the Bermuda Day attracts or comes to the island just for the parade? Now, I know that you have 2 mega cruise ships up in Dockyard, right? Now, the reason that I asked this particular question is because when we was at the parade, we were talking about which function or thing that attracts more tourists. And was it Bermuda Day Parade? Was it the Carnival? Or was it Cup Match? What attract more tourists to the island?
Well, I would think that would you would probably capture that in exit surveys more so, because, like you said, you've got a lot of people who are already going to be on the island because they're on a cruise ship or the like,
right.
And you might have people who are on the island and the Bermuda Day Parade or Cup Match or whatever is happening enhances their vacation, so they participate on it. So that's another byproduct of having these type of events. And I can tell you this much, right? Just while you're taking me there, that the Harbor Nights has become something that I believe doesn't need to stop. I just thought that has become very, very Bermudian, and it could very well be something that is incorporated non-competing days in St. George's and in Dockyard as well.
Right. I agree with that.
And I think each have explored it, but the one thing about Harbor Nights in Hamilton, it has stayed the course. You have to be consistent and ride it through, you know? Yeah.
Okay, cool. Last question.
Yes.
Your BTA is just got a new CEO coming in, starting in July, I think I read somewhere.
Yes.
That is correct. So my question to you, were there not no local people that was qualified or had the necessary experience to do the CEO's positions? Did it have to be someone from off island to do that?
I know that there was a very good panel of interviewers and the like, that and the interview process was put out there far and wide, and I believe at the end of the day it was narrowed down, and the person that was shortlisted and eventually chosen was the best person for the job. That's all I can. That's all I can say. But I can tell you. But I'll tell you this much: there are a lot of very good and competent Bermudians that are forming part of that organization that are doing good work. And what I believe you're going to see is leadership that would better direct them through where they've been, some of the things that they had to endure, and lead them forward to be once again the best of the best in this industry. And I believe that. I believe that with my heart of hearts.
Okay, cool. No problem. It weren't no slight enough. No. You
asked me straight, and I told you straight.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, I know you shoot me straight from the hip. You give it to me. Yeah.
All right, sir.
But okay, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, caller. Always welcome your input. Indeed, look forward to hearing from you when next I'm on the air. And it's a beautiful day out there. We've been blessed, having had a few weeks ago a rainy stretch. We've been blessed with some very, very good weather indeed. And just wanted to just go into this national tourism plan that exists, that's going to be reworked, because every 10 years or so it gets updated and input, and I'm sure that input from outside will be invited as well. Good morning, caller. Welcome. You are on the air.
Good morning, Brother Kim. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, my friend.
I appreciate what you were saying with regard to Bermuda Day and the reflection. In particular, you were describing the various cultures, how we have a mix of cultures and a multitude of cultures.
Yes.
I think there are a lot of people, Kim, who don't understand that cultures evolve.
Yes.
They're not static.
No, they can't be.
They cannot be static. Cultures evolve.
Because we evolve.
Yes.
I look at those pictures when I was winning golf events and traveling around the United States and establishments. I said, boy, it takes, I can get into, it'll take, that guy will get into 2 of my outfits, maybe the 3rd one. We evolve as people. Our learning is, if it's static, we're doing ourselves a disservice. We've got to look and grow and reflect and be and want to be the best version of ourselves.
Yes, and that involves evolution and contribution.
Yes.
From diverse groups. For instance, you look at Bermuda. We go back and look at Bermuda history, right? Initially, we had the English come and basically settle the place. So it was, predominantly English, predominantly white English culture. And then blacks started to be brought in, initially as slaves, and then quite a few blacks immigrated after slavery from the Caribbean. And that added to the culture of Bermuda.
Yeah, absolutely.
Portuguese came, and they added their parts of their culture to Bermuda. To Bermuda. I mean, I understand. I mean, I can't confirm this, but I understand that that's where our codfish and potato breakfasts came from, with the influence of the Portuguese. That's what I've been told. I could be wrong.
Okay.
And now we see a Filipino layer being added. And I think all these things can help to make your culture more rich because everybody is contributing something. You understand what I'm saying?
And you know what the common denominator is in all of these cultures?
Yes.
Labor.
Yes.
Whether or not the labor was brought here against its will, or whether or not the labor came here because it was looking for a greater opportunities, labor drives people moving around the world.
Yes, Kim, you're absolutely right.
And you know what? You took me there. I'm gonna say this again. I would encourage anybody. You got Netflix? Go and Google Cabrini, the patron saint Cabrini.
Yes.
The patron saint Cabrini was sent to America by the Pope because of the immigrants from Italy were treated worse than the rats.
Yes.
And out of her vision, there are universities around America today, right? From the Catholics today. Now, that culture, and look at the. And we talk about the Filipino community, we talk about the Portuguese community, the Azorean community in particular, of which I am very familiar, and the Filipino. But we also have an Italian community here,
Yes, we do.
And labor brought a lot of those Italians to Bermuda to work, and not as maitre d's, as waiters.
Yes.
But with an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
And you know what? And so people say, "But what you talking about, Swan? How can I learn from that?" Until the day when we, and I say those of us who are from the African community, predominantly in Bermuda, can look to see that if we can teach our young people how to embrace their culture and how to be entrepreneurs within our culture. Because people that come to Bermuda looking for something better, make that something better for themselves. Yeah. So sometimes you could be a little bit too laid back and where you are. Sometimes you just look at the trees and expect for the fruit just to fall, not realizing that, of every season you got to do some work.
Yep, you got to do some planting.
And I believe that if we go to the younger ones in our country, down to the primary schools, teach them, involve them. Teach them how to be entrepreneurs. Teach them how to embrace their culture. Teach them how to sail. Teach them how to golf. Teach them how to play tennis at young. And teach them the importance of managing monies and learning how to be entrepreneurs, because not everybody's going to be. You can have 100 people. You can have 50 doctors.
Yes.
You got to have a diverse appreciation for what makes a society run. And let me remind people this, the old time something my granny used is not what you make, is what you save. I knew guys who went to school next door to my primary school, right, who weren't going to go to Berkeley, may have had difficulty going to Science. By the time they were men, somebody taught them how to build houses, farm, work, and those guys were building their own houses, and everybody was out there going out profiling in clubs and all night long. Those guys that I can call by name, who I hail out to and delight today, and I remember them as 10 and 12 and 15-year-olds earn arms. And why? Because somebody taught them how to make a living on their own, not relying on someone to hire them.
Yeah.
So what I see the opportunity in this country is, right, for persons who Bermuda of multiple generations, is that there comes a time when you've got to take those young people and show them the opportunities and show them that, listen, you could start up a little business doing this. A friend of mine is a very top businessman in the hospitality industry. He has a child, 2 children. He has a child who is younger than 8. That child goes on the beach. He taught that child how to go on the beach, say good morning to a person. Can I go get you a towel? Can I go get you something like this? I can't get you an alcoholic beverage. Can I get you that? Can I bring you some water? That probably child making a lot of money.
Yep.
And how many of us growing up used to do those type of things in our community anyway?
Yep.
And so sometimes, you could get, sometimes in life you can get too intellectualized. You could get I need an expert to tell me how to do things. And I just want to say that in this little platform that I have, that, we're going to take a page out of the book of people that come to Bermuda, that because there was a time when we were them, those of us who have been here a couple of generations.
Well, Kim, the thing is that the way I look at it is that everyone that comes, the majority of the people that come, 99.9%, are making a contribution to the island, to our Kim well-being.
Yes.
So we should welcome them with open arms. And I think countries, Kim, that fall into the trap of becoming too protective and totally anti-foreigner and stuff, they do themselves a disservice. Because a lot of countries were actually built on the impact of foreign labor. You look at the United States. The fact that there were so many immigrants, the immigrants came, and usually, like you said, Kim, the first group of immigrants made huge contributions to their country or to your country. So we need to welcome individuals and not be overprotective and embrace.
But it's a balance. It's a balance, because some people have come in and exploited some of the things that were indigenous too. So we've got to balance it out.
I agree. There has to be a balance. But the thing that we have to accept is that cultures, period, all cultures evolve. They don't stay static. They change. And with the change, hopefully they change and gain more for the better. I just want to make one last illustration, Kim. I can recall, and I'm sure you can, and we guys were growing up, right? In terms of pellet and our food stuff is concerned, we had the macaroni and cheese, potato salad and chicken, you know what I mean, fried fish and stuff like that. If you look now, Kim, at the options when it comes to food, Just food alone. Think about it, Kim. Chinese, Indian, things like chicken tikka and all this stuff that we had never heard of.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
The Italian foods, the Alfredo, fettuccine, all these different types of. This is the impact of globalization and multiculturalism.
Yes.
This is some of the positive impact. Now, like you said, if you go too far, it could be negative because it could impact the people that are already there in a negative way. But we have to guard against that. But at the same time, we shouldn't become so xenophobic that we're pushing anything that don't look like us. Oh, that's got to be bad. It don't work like that.
It's a balance, and it's an appreciation. And like you said,
that cultures evolve.
And it's an appreciation that cultures are an import.
Yes. Yep.
and forever.
And your culture changes a bit.
And it's ever evolving. And you know, whilst you go there, I gave this illustration of the peppercorn ceremony. I don't know. Yes. The peppercorn ceremony and Bermuda Day had two things very much in common from the Gombe perspective. The Gombes have become more colorful, and each tribe is trying to make itself a little bit more unique and distinct from the next.
Yes.
So there was a time when maybe you had 4 or 5 troops. Now you got about 20 or 30, right?
Yep.
But at the peppercorn ceremony, I remember parading down on the square.
Yes.
And standing on the square.
Yes.
Right? In as a member of the oldest lodge in Bermuda.
Okay.
In 1989, 1990, thereabouts, right?
Yes.
With a handful of people, all dressed alike, carrying on that old tradition.
Yes.
And I remember being, breaking the sound barrier in golf. I broke the sound barrier in that lodge as well. Okay.
Okay.
And today I look down in that lodge and I see a lot of young people that I watched grow up, embrace that lodge today. I see the complexion of the lodge is more reflective of the community that we live in. And now, where you could only be a Lord St. George's color bearer when you walked into the lodge, they've invited every lodge in Bermuda. Bermuda has more of everything per capita than anywhere in the world. So we have more lodges, more bars, more everything. They have lodges that come from far and wide, and all the ones in Bermuda, all wearing their colors. And I said, wow, look at the evolution
you could see that
by embracing diversity.
Yes, Kim, that's what I'm saying. You got to go that route.
But if I tell you all the names I'm being called for embracing diversity, breaking down barriers in golf and where I've been, but sometimes you just got to be stronger and know that there's a better way.
Well, that's all part of the territory, Kim.
Well, I you took me there.
But
so
you're doing the right thing, though. You're doing the right thing, brother. I would encourage you.
You took me there, so I had to go. But guess what? It's 10:59. I gotta go.
All right, my friend.
Nikita Robinson is up next on with the Worship Room Evangelist. And Lord willing, I'll be back with you again on Tourism in Focus. It's always my pleasure to be with you. Love you all, and love my beautiful Bermuda. And in the words of the late Sammy Milson, it's my Bermuda.
Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now.